Alright, hello everyone. It is the first full week of the month, and that normally means that we get the Nielsen radio ratings. This is going to be the book that will be from August 21st to September 17th. Now, they headline with the Dallas radio market, which, I'll just say this, to those folks running KDMX, and we'll lead off with that very quickly here, so I normally don't want to get into it, but to the folks at iHeartMedia in Dallas, they should really be giving themselves a real pat on the back for their 7.0 rating. That's very good. I gotta give them credit. So, I know I'm not a big fan of corporate radio as much, but hey, you take what you can get, right? Okay. So as you know, we're going to go into New York, Long Island, and possibly my future radio market of the Delaware Valley radio area. But we're also going to discuss some news about Wilmington, Delaware getting a new alt-rock station, and we are going to discuss the latest developments of television. The future of PBS could be a jeopardy thanks to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting's shutdown, which began a week ago on October 1st. So we're going to touch up on that in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, New York City, which no surprise to WLTW, 106.7 Light FM, which is iHeartMedia's adult contemporary for the New York City market. The lead will shrink from an 8.6 to an 8.1. As far as all news all the time, Odyssey, 1010 wins in 92.3 FM. Sorry, I like to do that for emphasis. Down from a 6.0 to a 5.9. The streaming share goes up to a 0.6. iHeartMedia's contemporary hit radio C100 WHTC FM will claim sole possession of third place, up from a 5.2 to a 5.5. Odyssey's classic hits 101.1 WCBS FM will dip down from a 5.2 to a 4.8. iHeartMedia's classic rock WAXQ FM Q1043 will go down from a 4.8 to a 4.6. Spanish Tropical, La Mega 97.9 WSKQ slides from a 5.1 to a 4.9 to a 4.5. Stream down 2.0 to 1.5. Univision's X96.3 WXNY up 2.2 to a 2.6. Now this is an interesting one. Christian Adult Contemporary K-Love 95.5 WPLJ up from a 1.6 to a 2.4. Now, slowly but surely, the Emmett's Bilingual AC, WEPN FM, 98.7, La Exitosa, will continue its climb a little bit up from 2.0 to a 2.1. Jazz Station, 88.3 WBGO, lowest share rating, 0.4. Come on, nobody pays attention to that. So, once again, the Battle of the ACs are not mentioned. And more importantly, where's WBLS? Okay, I am literally disgusted again that it's not mentioned in the books. We're going to have to find it. Okay, there we go. WBLS will jump down this month from a 4.4 to a 4.3, the adult R&B Media Co station. I want to make sure y'all can read it. There we go. So at least y'all can read it, because I'm like, let me make sure I have the right Nielsen books. Okay, Conservative Talk Radio 77 WABC will go down from a 4.1 to a 4.0 for this month. Here we go. Let's get into the hot AC stations for New York City. First up, let's discuss new 102.7 WNEW FM owned by Odyssey. Now, this should have been mentioned that for the past 3 books, the ratings have been stuck at 3.8, but for this month, WNEW will now tick up to a 4.1. Look at that. That's a very big deal to mention. That should have been discussed. However, WKTU will go down from a 3.5 to a 3.3 for this month. Now, public radio, we should be discussing this now that they're going to be affected by the cuts from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. New York City's NPR station, 93.9 WNYC FM, will go down. Will actually go up a little bit this month from 3.8 to a 3.9. As far as the Battle of the Hip Hops, Hot 97 WQHT FM by MediaCo, a little bit down from 3.3 to a 3.2. Power 105.1 iHeartMedia WWPR 3.0 to a 2.7. Sports Talk 660 AM 101.9 FM 3.0 to a 2.9. But those ratings might tick up with the Yankees being in the playoffs and I guess people venting like me about the Mets. So there's that. Let me just make sure we can find WXBK's number, the classic hip-hop owned by Odyssey. So that will go up this month from a 2.0 to a 2.2. Okay. And then lastly, WOR 0.9 to a 1.0, another conservative talk radio station. So there you have it. By the way, WNYM is not listed, and so is WHSQ. I guess because they don't have a... they don't really have that mentioned, but yep. So we went into the number one radio market in the country. Now we go to Long Island. I'm sure we can find Long Island. Here we go. So look at this. So in Long Island, WABC actually is up 5.2 to a 6.8. So it seems people in Long Island are paying attention to what's going on in New York City. This is the highest share for what ratings expert Chris Huff notes that this is the highest number since it was a top 40 station in the spring of 1978. So look at that. That's an interesting number. C100 6.9 to a 6.5. Okay. Let's get into the number one rated station in terms of true Long Island. And it looks like WBAB has reclaimed the top spot with a 4.9 sharing. All right, so owned by Cox Media Group, 4.9. There you have it. Let's see what else we have here. I want to look at the other connoisseur stations. So how did the connoisseurs do this month? Okay, yes. Connoisseur Media's Hot AC WALK FM 97.5 ratings will go down continually to a 4.8 to a 4.3. However, ratings expert Chris Huff notes that ratings will tick up once the station flips to a holiday format sometime in November, which is no surprise. Connoisseur Rock 94.3 The Shark will continue its downward trend. Now down from a 2.0 to a 1.5 for this month. Uh-oh. Not looking good for rock station WWSK. The folks at Connoisseur might need to rethink things over there. Uh-oh. Okay, let's take a look to see where WBLI is mentioned in the book. That's important. We can go find WBLI. Oh, I see. Here we go. Okay. 106.1 WBLI. Cox Media CHR station will remain at a 4.5 for this month. Connoisseur's AC station, KJOY 98.3 WKJY, will actually... See, this should have been mentioned. How do you not mention for the last two books that the station's been holding at a 3.6 share, but now they're at a 3.9? And their highest share was back in May of this year. Go figure that out. seriously, whoever writes these articles, really, that's what gets me disgusted. Okay, back to the topic at hand. Connoisseur's oldie station, this is the last station we'll read here. WHLI will go down from a 2.6 to a 2.1. Okay, well, that's interesting. Alright, so last but not least, let's get to my possible future radio market of Philadelphia. Okay. With the Eagles and the Phillies playoff pushes rising, 94.1 WIP Sports Talk Radio goes up from a 7.1 to a 8.5. However, ratings expert Chris Huff has been keeping an eye on the Beasley Media Group classic rock station 102.9 WMGK, which has been seeing very high listenership numbers for this calendar year. However, we must note that the ratings have gone down from an 8.1 to a 6.8. However, their sister rock station, 93.3 WMMR, will go up from a 5.8 to a 6.3. Odyssey's AC B101 WBEB FM down from a 5.5 to a 5.4. However, ratings expert Chris Huff notes ratings should tick up in November and December once the Odyssey station flips to a holiday format. Alright, news talk. My bad, not news talk. Just all news all the time. AM 1060, KYW 1039 WPHI will go up from a 4.6 to a 4.8. iHeartMedia's adult R&B 105.3 WDHS FM will fall down 6.0 to a 4.7. Hip Hop Power 99 WUSL up from a 2.8 to a 3.4. iHeart's contemporary hit radio Q102 WIOQ FM will climb up from a 2.3 to a 2.8. Whoa. Alright, so AAA WXPN 88.5, 4.8 to a 4.0. NPR 90.9 WHYY FM seesaws 4.0 to a 4.4. Christian AC K-Love 106.9 WKVP 3.0 to a 3.9. Beasley's Media Variety Hits 95.7 Ben FM WBEN FM will slide down to a 3.1. However, the rise and fall of WRFF continues as iHeartMedia's alt-rock station, Alt 104.5 in the Philadelphia market, will now go down to a 2.0. Two stations missing that are of notable importance are obviously WTDY and WXTU. So let's go see if we can find them. Hopefully we can find them. Okay, here we go. 92.5 Country Music, Philadelphia, owned by Beasley Media Group, will go down from a 4.3 to a 4.0. Right, oldies, classic hits, WOGL, Big 98.1, remains at a 3.0, owned by Odyssey. And let's see. And we don't need to get into that. Where's WTDY? There we go. Okay. So, WTDY, Hot AC, the new 96.5 by Odyssey, up from a 1.7 to a 1.9. So good luck with that Philadelphia cluster, because a lot of people have some unique taste in that Philadelphia area. Okay. Now let's get into some news from Wilmington, Delaware today. As a new rock station, well, alt-rock, WSNJ, is now in Wilmington, Delaware. So news came out earlier this afternoon that Loud Media has moved into Okay, what's going on here? There might be a typo. Formerly AC Pop 99.9, which again, why do you need another HD station when you already have one in Wilmington, Delaware? You already have WSTW on 93.7. Okay, here we go. The translator from 99.9 Swedesboro, New Jersey to 95.1 W236EA will now complete the flip to alt rock 95.1 WSNJ. Programming will now include the syndicated TJ show for mornings and will now run Jockless and other day part. So, there you go. I don't know why we need a alt rock station in Wilmington, Delaware, when clearly we got 104.5 in Philadelphia. Why is this necessary? I don't know. But let me know if you're in Delaware or in South Jersey and how you're feeling about this. Because I think most of you are in agreement that WJBR is still missed. Yeah. If only 99.5 could come back. Okay. Now let's get into some news about PBS. And this is very important if you've not heard the news about PBS. So, I'm sure you have heard about it by now, but if you've not, we'll touch up on it for just a second. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which was founded in 1967, has officially ceased operations. So I'm going to read a statement from my PBS affiliate that was posted last Wednesday. Quote, "Without your support, our content cannot exist. 13 is no longer being funded by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Since 1967, the CPB has supported all of your favorite documentaries, children programming, trusted news, and more. Thank you to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting for almost 60 years of partnership and support. You will be missed." So, this is why my local PBS station here in New York City is getting pretty desperate. They have a $25,000 deadline coming up on Halloween. So, as you can see here, that's why a lot of PBS stations the past couple of days that still can try to remain on the air, they're asking for viewers like you, which now really means something, to donate to your PBS affiliate. Unfortunately, and this is what I was telling a friend of mine a couple days, actually no, I was telling her last night. I was telling her the whole thing about viewers like you is one thing, right? We just talked about that. The Arthur Vining Davis Foundation, or any other foundations that you can think of, or educational non-for-profits, they could probably take out grants and then give it to local PBS stations to possibly continue PBS broadcasting. That's a way you can look at it. And then you still have corporate sponsorships. I mean, PBS shows still get donations from corporate sponsorships. So there's that as a factor. But unfortunately, as a result of federal funding and the loss of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, it is being reported by Cord Cutters News, and I suggest you go check out his channel because he does a good job with his content. We have two PBS stations that are threatening to shut down. The first being WPSU in State College, Pennsylvania, which would likely cease operations on June 30th of next year. Then we go to my neighboring state of New Jersey. New Jersey PBS, following the failure of its parent company, which is my PBS station, WNET, to secure an agreement with the New Jersey Public Broadcasting Authority. So look at that. And there might be more PBS stations that are coming to shut down possibly. So I'll try to keep an eye on this as much as I can. There have been threats before to PBS. As I said, educational non-for-profits, corporate sponsorships, they could keep PBS running. I'm optimistic about that. Maybe the same could be said about NPR. Because in theory, do they really need the Corporation for Public Broadcasting when people donate to these stations? Or, again, like I said, non-for-profits, again, corporations. I'm talking like big corporations, like Amazon, for an example. Maybe they'd buy out PBS. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, Amazon already has PBS content. Okay. So I think we're done. I think we've covered every ground. Let me know what you're thinking about what we just touched up upon. I will mention before I wrap up this video, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. Don't be surprised if any stations start to flip to Christmas music on Halloween. There's a rumor going around that WHUD in the Hudson Valley 100.7 might again on Friday, October 31st. So I will keep you all posted if I hear anything. I think they're going to flip at 10 a.m. And then for our next radio ratings, I will discuss my theories of when I think most likely WLTW will likely flip. I already have the date because I know somebody over at C100 it's already given it to me, but I want to verify with him that it's okay to give it out. But I'm not going to do it in this video. We'll do it in November. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, please take care.